Hi all, it's V, and this is Stonehenge and Salisbury Cathedral in Wiltshire, England. We visited Stonehenge on a very rainy day. Last time I visited, which was, over 20 years ago now? Or about 20 years ago, it was raining. Does it always rain at Stonehenge? It was raining so hard the last time I bought an umbrella there, I remember very clearly. But things have certainly changed in the last 20 years. There's a huge visitor center now, which includes a cafe, a shop, a museum, and you get the bus up to the stones. This outdoor part of the museum shows the two types of stones that were used to build Stonehenge and the houses that were probably lived in by the builders. Many of these dwellings were open, so you can go in and have a look inside to see what it would have been like to live inside one. After viewing the museum, you take the bus to the stones. Now, if you look up to the right, you'll see the stones in the distance. I wasn't looking that direction. I was looking the completely wrong direction and wondered where the stones actually were. I found them once I got off the bus. The bus ride goes by several walks in the area around Stonehenge, where you can see wildlife and other archaeology in the area. It was raining so hard that day, we decided to just stick with Stonehenge. Stonehenge is perhaps the world's most famous prehistoric monument. The first monument here was built about 5,000 years ago, and the unique stone circle was erected in the late Neolithic period, about 2500 BC. In the early Bronze Age, many burial mounds were built nearby. So why does Stonehenge exist? Because it was built by peoples who left no written record. There are many theories as to why Stonehenge exists. Some suggest it's a place of burial, or a place of healing, or a place for worship. Some suggest a calendar for events like the solstice, the equinox, and other celestial events. The honest answer is, we don't know. No one knows. Everyone's guess is as good as the other, quite honestly. I think it's nice that no one knows. It's nice to have a little mystery these days. And it means that currently Stonehenge can mean different things to different groups of people. One of the most popular beliefs is that Stonehenge was built by the Druids for sacrificial ceremonies. The mystery helps make Stonehenge a fascinating place. Once you get to the stones, there's a path around them so you can see the stones from every angle. I highly recommend a visit. When you're there, see how it feels. See if you can come up with a theory for why they exist. This is Salisbury, England, in Wiltshire, and its gorgeous cathedral. Built between 1327 and 1342, the High Street Gate is the main point of entry into Cathedral Close. Salisbury Cathedral is set in the largest cathedral close in Britain, covering over 80 acres. There are historic houses, National Trust properties, a museum, and even a college. The grounds are so incredibly peaceful, and the cathedral is stunning and quite imposing. The spire dominates the city's skyline and can be seen for miles around. At 123 meters or 404 feet, it has been wowing visitors since the 14th century and is Britain's tallest spire. The outside of the cathedral is incredibly ornate, with detailed statuary of angels, biblical figures, apostles, and saints. I visited the cathedral just before its 800th birthday. It is a remarkable building, and I didn't know when we first walked up, it houses one of 4 Magna Cartas in existence. I'll explain more about the Magna Carta when we get to that. The cathedral is regarded as one of the leading examples of early English architecture. Its main body was completed from 1220 to 1258. With expansive high ceilings, the interior of this church is stunning. The windows are filled with more stained glass than I think I've ever seen in my life. And many of the monuments in the church have historical significance for England. The Salisbury Cathedral clock, which dates from about 1386, is the oldest working modern clock in the world.
And the thing that makes it very real are the pins on the ring in the middle, which hit that lever down there.
It sits beside a display of obsolete colors of the Wiltshire Regiment. Consecrated in 2008, the Salisbury font is the most interesting font I have ever seen in a cathedral. It is gorgeous, and no matter where you look in the water, you can see reflections from the stained glass windows. And although water pours from the font, the water in the font stays perfectly calm. It is absolutely mesmerizing. The burial monuments in Salisbury Cathedral fascinated me. The history of these monuments. Oh wow, I was in my element. For example, there's this one, which is an effigy of an unknown 14th century warrior they originally thought was from the 12th century. Then you have a steward to King Richard II. And a brother of a dean who worked for Edward IV, Richard III, and Henry VII, and was knighted by all 3. Wow! He knew the last 2 Plantagenet kings and the beginning of the Tudor kings. Wow! I'm so impressed. Now this monument impressed me the most. Here we have the nephew of Jane Seymour, who was married to Henry VIII and died after giving birth to his son, and his wife, Lady Catherine Grey, sister of Lady Jane Grey, who was Queen of England for 9 days. After being awed and amazed by the cathedral, you step outside into the cloisters, which are so incredibly peaceful, and take a left. And there, in the chapter house, you can see one of 4 Magna Cartas still in existence today. The Magna Carta, or the Great Charter of Freedoms, is a charter of rights agreed to by King John of England on 15th June 1215. This is the foundation for the idea that people being governed have rights. It eventually led to the Bill of Rights when the United States was forming. This is only one of 4 surviving copies of the Magna Carta. Written on parchment, it cannot be filmed, and it's kept in a very dark room to preserve it. Seeing this document in person was incredible. I have a degree in political science. I've studied history and politics, and the Magna Carta is famous as a symbol for justice and fairness and human rights, and has been used to inspire movements for freedom around the world. It was amazing to see it in person. It is something I will never forget. I thank Salisbury Cathedral for letting the general public see this incredible document. And with that ends our visit to Stonehenge, Salisbury, and Salisbury Cathedral. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Thank you so much for watching.